So with that in mind, why don't we go to the third track? On the on disc 1, and then we'll comment on it. So this one's called Oh-Umm.
Yeah, we need a stiff drink, and this will be our drink. Let the water turn black. Let's make the water turn black.
Okay, here goes. It sounds like people talking to each other the same way the characters in the piano are.
You do hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that too.
There's nothing traditionally musical about that piece. It sounds very conversational. There's a lot of call and answer in it.
Yeah, when television, electronics allow people to talk to each other real easily, talk became the new numbing, the new enjoyment, the new entertainment. So it's so appropriate that Zappa made his music be subservient to the rhythms of speech.
Yeah. I mean, it's all those odd meters mimic how one talks that he uses in his songs.
Could you say that again?
In especially that song we just heard, the odd meters at different time signatures, it mimics how we talk.
Yeah, so he knew the medium was tactile chatter, phatic talk, Manipian talk. That was in the talk radio and all over the place. And melody, music, rhythm, all that, those wonderful values that played off the visual society became subservient to the talk world. And that's why the interview was his goal, was to get into the mainstream media and talk. You know, talk was the ground.
There's a cadence to these songs on Civilization Phase 3 that is not really present in his prior albums. It's much more verbal.
Maybe Jazz from Hell was the only one that had this.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And that's because he's been watching C-SPAN and talk TV sitting in the studio for 10 to 15 years. You know, and CNN and all that. It's so, I mean, McLuhan and said all media are words. It is, for him to make music go like that is parallel to what McLuhan was pointing out on the larger scale about technologies being words. It became a wordy word society.
Yeah.
We did the pigs,
and then it ends up with the Zappa album where people are talking inside of a piano.
Yeah.
And that's the last statement of his whole career.
Yeah, the concentration camp he talks about in Time magazine in October '69 is the piano, or like that mountain on the cover. That's the concentration camp. I mean, that mountain, that piano mountain is like, could be a space colony. You got these UFOs zapping around it. And he's talking about, he makes fun of every kind of musician, any field, because they don't recognize the new ground of speech.
Yeah.
I mean, and his aesthetic, that's what emerged. Bartok and those guys who were moving rhythms of classical music towards speech, and he saw that was moving towards the blues guys.
Yeah, I mean, he caricature classical music all the time.
Yeah. And he would caricature blues too.
Yeah, along with every other style I was about to say. Yeah.
All he had
dialogue in these. Some of the dialogue in these songs here are worth looking into, perhaps, once we finish snacking.
Yeah, we did the pigs and the music. We did that part. Let's look at some of the other stranger stuff.
Have you ever heard their band?
Beg your pardon?
Number 12. Have you ever heard their band?
Yeah, you guys start doing it. I'm just finishing up here. I thought I was on mute. I wonder if the recording caught my eating over the music.
Yeah. We're all snacking.
Yeah, I heard some water running or something.
Yeah, I did that.
Right.
Okay, so, start talking about the lyrics.
Well, I'm going to play number 12. Have you heard their band?
Yeah, cool.
I played 3 of them there.
Yeah, good.
They're short, and they kind of roll into each other. It's interesting how, not unlike a lot of his other albums, a lot of these songs end like, have you ever heard the band? It ends with, no, that's religious superstition. And then it cuts seamlessly into the song with religious superstition. And then at the end of Superstition, he does the same thing with Syllabic, only takes so much.
Yeah, it's like one song.
So there's some conceptual continuity there.
Mm-hmm. So, have you ever heard their band? What do you think that's all about?
What band do you think you're talking about?
At first, I thought it was maybe the other piano, like they're going into Steinway. No, it's a Baldwin, and maybe they're talking about the band and the other piano, but I'm not too sure. Any ideas?
I think this might be a dialogue between the pigs and the ponies.
Yeah, okay.
We don't get as much detail about pigs and ponies in this one as we do in how the pigs' music works. Yeah. But it looks like a continuation of that conversation.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's the pigs band that they're discussing.
Yeah, because they're talking in number 8. They're talking about how the pigs' music works.
Yep.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard their band, Spider? I don't understand it though. Their band, I don't understand. Monica, I don't think they understand it either. Spider, what? The Smoke? John and Monica, the band. So, this whole thing about the Smoke is brought up. That's a consistent theme from number 8, and also I think it's on disc 2. We talked about that in the first dialogue.
Yeah. But there's some kind of thing that's giving us all these revelations. Yeah, well, that's it's this funny voice, and he keeps telling us all these things, and I just thought that before. We just thought off these things, just off the wall and out of our heads. No, that's religious superstition. That's a little bit of this funny voice is a little bit like Ion, and he keeps telling us all these things. We're getting these revelations.
Yeah.
No, that's Ion. We hit the mother load. We hit the mother load. I haven't seen this or heard this. I didn't know that was in there. I did 25, whatever it was, 20 years ago. But that's incredible. We can work with that.
That's an example of planning something in the past so that you can know it in the present.
Yep. I'll be able to jump in a minute, but you carry on that. I'm all for this. This is I thought Ion before James said it, but James was saying it's obvious. I got to go look at the words and get more stuff. But this ain't so far-fetched, what we propose.
No, it's not. It's just how do we link in the Smoke, the pigs, and then a quick jump to FZ says the Smoke stands still, and John says there's some kind of thing that's giving us all these revelations. That's John butts in. It's his funny voice, and he keeps telling us all these things, and it goes on. So how do we make the link between the pig, Smoke?
I can do it in a minute. I just need to do something. You got John the Revelator. You got John the Revelator there.
Yep.
Yeah, John and Monica. Yeah, John, Spider, and John and Monica.
John and Monica, yeah.
John, it's the funny voice. He keeps telling us all these things. So there's John the Revelator channeling Ion, as Ion's writing the book of Revelation through John. And John's saying, he keeps telling us all these things. And I just thought that before we just thought of these things, just like off the wall and out of our heads. And then, no, that's religious superstition.
So that's Spider, and he's like, throughout the whole dialogue, he's he says, some things that we maybe should look back on. Why he thinks it's religious superstition.
Well, Spider's the one in number 8, how the pig's music works. He says, remember about the smoke standing still. Yeah, explain about the dense light and the smoke and the dynamics of all that. So is he kind of like, Spider's more of a scientist?
Yeah, he's like in a fixed position, and he thinks he's got it. And then John says, there's some kind of thing that's giving us all these revelations, and Spider objects, no, that's religious superstition.
Yeah. Do you think Spider is actually, could represent like a spider?
Well, his name is Spider.
Spider. On the web, the whole scientific thing seems to prevail because people have Wikipedia and they rely on that for all the facts.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So that's a stretch maybe, but it's a talking point.
Yeah.
But what about the smoke? Like in light of Ion and the smoke monster thing from Lost and Revelation, do you see any kind of continuity there?
Yeah, because there's the big pit where the smoke comes out of, and the smoke gets talked about a lot in Revelations. I'm just trying to read some of Spider's other sentences and piece together something. So Spider says, see, when the smoke gets that brittle, what happens when you try to move it? It disintegrates. And John says, and the pigs get uptight because they worship that smoke. They salute it every day. So, and then Monica says, we've got something here. And then John says, and that's the basis of all their nationalism. Like if they can't salute the smoke every morning when they get up. And Spider says, yeah, it's a vicious circle, you got it. So Spider takes two different positions, I guess. But when Bob gets back, he'll be able to nail it in one. But this smoke thing is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Like
when we talked about the band, what did we say the band was again? Oh yeah, it's
the Pigs band.
Pigs band.
Yeah. And so when they worship the smoke, it's a false god or an ark or something like that. And Spider says, yeah, it's a vicious circle, you got it. And then we move on to the Revelation bit. So have you ever heard their band? I don't understand it though, their band, I don't understand it. Spider says, what, the smoke? John and Monica, the band. Spider says, the band doesn't understand what? Monica, did you know that? F said, the smoke stands still. John, there's some kind of thing that's giving us all these revelations. Spider, yeah, well that's John cuts in. It's his funny voice. And so we've gone through that, and Spider goes, no, that's religious superstition. So previously he was sort of going, yeah, it's a vicious circle when they salute the smoke, when they get up every morning. And so the smoke. Bob, you back there?
Yeah. First thing is in the information overload society since the 60s, everybody's neighbor was involved in pattern recognition. And right now there's little groups all over the place trying to explain things. because everybody doesn't, since the 60s, people always needed to explain what was happening more than they ever did before, because there was so much to keep up with, or they thought they had to keep up with. So I find that these kind of conversations that he's featuring are archetypal. They're all over the place, these kind of things. Little groups discovering things or trying to figure out, thinking they know. And I'm pretty sure Zappa and Gale and their friends had those kind of conversations around them. I was witness to a couple, but you have this interesting point that Gale implies Frank was pretty oracular or something. He could have been a medium, and so Zappa would be aware of that. And this is where he's predicting ionization. But so there's the conventional talk of people discovering stuff through their classroom is their speech as they interact with each other. And
they're just trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Who?
I said they're in the darkness trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, McLuhan said that in the 60s that the interrogative mood or the questioning mood took over society because everybody was always trying to figure out what's going on because they couldn't get all the patterns. So many were being created or implied, and they just could get a few. So people more and more had an identity quest, and they would kind of assuage it by talking this kind of way with people, trying to figure out why everything was out of control or that. And it would be based on different kinds of education or sophistication. So this actual point of the interrogative mood, trying to figure out what's going on and people explaining it. I don't know anybody else who presented words, conversation like that, beginning with lumpy gravy than Zappa. And that's so McLuhan-esque what he was doing. McLuhan was analyzing that too. So, now where is, I'm looking at the lyrics here, the conversation. Which one had the ion stuff?
Number 12.
Have you ever heard their band? So, have you ever heard their band? I don't understand it though. See, now there's a lot of people who said that over the last 30 years. Some band showed up on the scene in some form, either in New York or Athens, Georgia, or LA, or in their little town, and they're trying to be experimental, and they'll be a little odd. Everybody has said that. I don't understand that band. Why are they doing that? So that's archetypal. And it's neat how he found people to say this, and it can become sociological.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, though. Their band, I don't understand. I don't think they understand it either. Well, that's been said 100 times. I've heard people say that kind of stuff, talking about bands, I heard a lot of it at CBGB's. What? The smoke? I like what you guys see. Aspires to scientists. He's like a little clueless. What? The smoke? No, the band, you fucking dummy. We're talking about the band. The band doesn't understand what? He doesn't get the mood they're in because he thinks he knows it all, or he's got categories, right?
Yeah.
He's out of touch with the people, so to speak. The band doesn't understand what? Did you know that? The smoke stands still. There's some kind of thing that's giving us all these revelations. There's some kind of thing that's giving us. Can you imagine? This is great. When someone scans across the cheap radio.
What? He says it. John's saying this part as well.
Yeah, people who discover ion and cash flow, they're going to go, what is this guy? Because it's so odd, the voice, and they don't expect it's an oracle or a medium. It doesn't sound like it. But after a while, it's shit. He keeps explaining everything. He's some kind of guy who's giving us these revelations. Who is he? Let's call up. Yeah. That's exactly a reaction to ion. This is ionization. I mean, look at the prophecy that Frank realized. There's some kind of thing that's giving on. That's exactly an audience response to ion, a naive response. Yeah, well, there's the jerk. That's the guy who doesn't like Ion's voice, and, Andrew Christo, well, that's just the old Gnostic tradition, that's you hear Scott. Have you heard Scott on the wonderful excerpt? When you hear that, he goes, well, Tina, this is they're just retrieving an old mystery school. There's nothing new about this.
Bob's in that
let's not get distracted. Let's not get distracted.
Wait, who's saying that?
No, but Bob, look at the guy's name who's saying these words in the text here.
Yeah, he's John. And look, it got revelations beside his name.
So look at this. This is what I see. Zappa is documenting John receiving the revelations from the funny voice of the Ion.
Yeah.
So this is non-physical writing revelations through John, and Zappa has it slipping here into his text.
Yeah, Zappa is somehow, he's like me during Castle, explaining what's going on every now and then. The smoke, this is just visual space, being superseded by the alphabet,
Ed says the smoke stands still before John says there's some kind of thing giving us all these revelations. So what does that imply, you think?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Zappa is like what I think I do during cash flow. Every now and then I'll come in with a knowing statement, like even in Revelation.
Yeah.
I say, no, we can't go there, Ian. We're not going there. You just calm down. He's a central scrutinizer.
Yeah.
The knower.
To the smoke monster or the smoke from the revelations in the pit. So when the smoke stands still and stops wreaking havoc, John finally can hear these voices.
It's like, okay, imagine you're a guy who happens to wander around the island of Patmos and bumps into John, who you saw in the market a couple of times. He's kind of sort of seen around. You see him lying outside of a cave, and he's there like stoned out, and he's mumbling all these things. And it's like Zappa writing down stuff in 200 motels. He's hearing off the radio, and John's not fully aware of what's going on. He goes, "There's some kind of thing that's going to be all these revelations as you walk by." He's like a homeless guy that somebody, it's his funny voice. He keeps telling, not me, us, because he felt it was a collective thing he was going to tell. He keeps telling us all these things. And I just thought that before we just thought of these things, just like off the wall.
Exactly. John's in his cave here, tuned into melting titanium.
Yeah.
Like just off the wall and out of my head.
It fits. It's this funny southern voice, a weird accent. He keeps telling us all these things. And I just thought of him before he said them. I was thinking of myself, and it's just off the wall. No, that's religious superstition. And then he's in the wrong piano. J.W.'s in the wrong piano. He got dislocated. No, you're in the wrong piano. That's Scott and Tita on tailgate. Bob's just in the wrong piano. No, the problem is you're in the wrong piano, says Brian. Then the Sasha says no. And then, Motorhead, he's the anti-Bob guy. It's just the old mystery school, Steinway. You are. It's not a Baldwin. And we used to go to Baldwin Foods, in Toronto. It was a major place. Greg Duffel goes there. Baldwin Foods sponsored International Connection, during the fundraiser. So it can even relate it directly to Bob's biography. It's not a Baldwin. Yeah. It's not even a wheelchair, Frank Zappa. Saliva can only take so much. Now, the saliva issue relates to something going on right here at Dobbstown right now, but I can't go into that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Saliva can only take so much. Now that's what we were saying about enhancing, right? You enhance something. The tetrad, you can't take it, and then you start looking for something to retrieve. Well, I got sores. I got my skin burned. I cut open a couple times. It felt good. Wow, it felt good. And I really, really climaxed. In other words, we never even had. See, in other words, it implies they're already talking about something, right? It's ongoing. She's referring back to something that someone said a while ago. We didn't have a chance, baby. This is people on tailgate say, I didn't have a chance when I called into Cashel. I just bowled right over me. These holes are just the right size. Did we do Buffalo Boys?
No, we didn't.
No.
But okay, we can each different song. There are different groups of people interacting. So are they different pianos?
Yeah, but it's like tailgate. It's much too crowded here. I'm getting the hell out of here. We're bing, 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 clink, clunk, clunk, bing, clunk. Yeah. This would be last spring when there was a lot of activity. Where would I like to be?
This totally reminds me of tailgate. This format, people just pop.
Yeah. I like to be like
they're waiting. They're trying to figure out where the fuck they are.
And also when to get their chance to speak. And so all of a sudden, Deborah will say, first time she go, I'd like to be someplace else right now. I think I've said that on tailgate. I don't like Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, it's hell here. I want to be someplace else. It's much too crowded here. Where would I like to be? Which is the kind of question to ask Ion. And I would say, well, that's up to you. If you don't know where you like to be, how do we know? And then someone else says, where would you like to be? They yell at her because it didn't get heard. She goes, I don't know. Where would you like to be? I like strings a whole lot. Now, that's talking about not the part of the orchestra. What part of the orchestra would I want to be in? There's the metaphor. I like strings. Where would you like to be? Sigh. She thinks she said enough. I said strings, but I'm just going to sigh. Huh? Someone disconnected just came in, and they don't know what's being said. They have to repeat it. What? I heard someone say you like to be somewhere? The confusion on tailgate. And then say, it's so hard. Where would you like to be? I can't think of anything else. A piano, a drum, strings. These strings are so tempting. That's it exactly. Exactly. That is tailgate. No doubt about it.
That was good.
Yeah. Oh, look at this, the fucking beach. Okay, the Bob Beach theme in a kayak on snow. Now, I've done kayak up in Canada, but a kayak on snow, a mountain. Now, we're on the beach right beside on the mountain. So there's a mountain on the beach. This is Carol talking about how great it is in Maui, and somebody hears halfway, what? There's a mountain on the beach? The confusion, right? The crackling of the phone knocked out a few words. It was under the beach. A mountain under the beach? Yeah, how'd you get to it? We didn't. It found us. Carol was just talking about it. Bob goes there every day. It came up through the beach? No, it never came up. And the moon was shining on the sand. We saw the mountain with the snow. Underneath? Yeah, underneath. Did you see any of those little worms? No, like they were in the mud? Then you got in light, negative light. Now, LaRouche does a lot about Venice, the Venice oligarchy. See, it's almost like you can project a little bit of LaRouche in here, the conspiracy part, the paranoid part of Zappa. I mean, to mention Venice.
Read out all those titles there, Bob.
Yeah, the New World Order. It's all those kind of things. Creationism, He is risen. Oh, yeah. Frank was talking. Listen, hey, Gail, what do you think of this, Gail? They're fucking explaining your husband's work, for God's sake. You better subscribe to Cash Flow. So that's incredible. It's got the creation, He is risen. Now, do we have any words on that? Nothing there, right? That's just music?
No, it was his big sort of piece that he Enlight was the big piece on for a long time.
Who blinked out? And where's Scott? He must have quit.
Yeah, he's sort of gone, hasn't he? Scott, you there?
I'm here. I'm just hanging.
Oh, hey, Scott.
Are you sleeping, Scott?
No, I was putting my attention on a little chore that I wanted to get done.
Well, are you enjoying it?
Well, you guys are yucking it up.
Yeah, it's pretty good what we're doing here. Yeah. Don't you think it's pretty good?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Maybe.
You guys are the associations you guys are making. I'm having a little trouble tracking, but that's
yeah, we're collectively doing ion. We're just roaring along like an ion rant. It's hard to keep.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid fire. Yeah, Bob, we only got 15 minutes left of the show. Do rapid fire, Bob. Okay, we'll run through Zappa Civilization Phase 3 Part 4, rapid fire.
Yeah, James puts on the music at the end of the show, and
yeah.
Wait, we still got time.
Did you notice Bill does that every week? In about 2 minutes before the end, he goes, rah! He puts the music in, I guess.
Yeah, right in the middle of it. You're in mid-sentence, and all of a sudden the music comes in, and then it backs off.
I think that's Bill's way to bring us. That's Bill's MK Ultra clue to get us out of trance, you know? Get off the stage.
No, but then you figure, how much can I fit in the next 20 seconds?
That's right. Yeah, I've even brought up a new topic with 6 seconds left and pulled it off. Such a fast talker.
Does Bill cut you any slack at all, or is it right at on the hour or on the hour he cuts you off?
Yeah, I see the timer. It goes. We have to be off at 0. Hey, look at this. Either I'm looking at attack. And Julie says down the second section, either you're here and I'm here, or I'm very different. These are the kind of things that people say on tailgate. They get all involved in talking about themselves. Well, either, you know, you're a super strong person. You know, I'm different. I have to work with these dead people, and it's just depressing, you know. And Ian goes around in circles. I'm not getting anything out of this.
Yeah.
The crabs and then Bob talking about visual space and tactility and manipulation. I might as well be saying, quote, crabs are really dangerous and they reach its fires. And every once in a while you walk in the streets, and when I heard of those from some talk from my home here, my piano, my piano, it's still dark in here. It's the same as it ever was. Now there's a line. Who's that? That's Talking Heads. Same as it ever was.
Yeah, same as it ever was.
I'm here. I'm not the same as I ever was. Ongoing attempt to find a percept of themselves. Perceptual searching. All on the percept level.
Yeah.
In this darkness, definitely
this combo of perception and conception, somewhere in between a concept and a perception.
You're saying a percept is somewhere between concept and percept.
Yeah, it's a hybrid of a concept and a perception.
Yeah, because people will shift and say, no, that's a thought, that's a concept. There's no such thing as a percept without a concept. That's what Ben Watson's view is. So when you're around people who believe that way, I'll accept the sliding over, interacting.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with a percept. I mean, why can't you blend a conception and a perception and it becomes a percept?
This guy doesn't even know what a payphone is.
Who?
Well, Bill's saying this about Herman.
Who's Herman?
These are people, I'm reading lines. What the hell is he doing here in the first place? Doesn't even know what a payphone is. They're talking about technology right there. That's a rapid slang version of McLuhan saying, you don't even know what television is. Right?
Yeah.
But we did that stuff.
You haven't studied your media ecology.
I haven't cited it?
No, he does this to say, you don't know your media ecology.
Right. I'm lowering down further. It looks like we did that before.
Yeah, we started last time with St. CNN.
Now, we wanted to, which was, what number is that? That's way down there?
6.
Number 6, yeah.
Oh, 6. There's a lot of stuff here. I was just thinking we wanted to do xenochrony. This is good xenochrony. I mean, this is incredible to find. I never thought we'd find tailgate. This is a new idea. We never thought of finding tailgate in there. But many times on tailgate or any of these group discussions, I've thought of lines from Zappa. The mood would come up, and you just think of a line. You wouldn't say it to anybody, but you'd think of it.
Yeah. Do you ever watch that thing?
Yeah. I succumbed to the impulse.
Oh, then you got people on tailgate talking about their personal subjective issues, like in "They Made Me Eat It." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mother said, "You're a bad boy, Louis and Turkey. You know, you better go on E and stay on E. You'll never see the world. You're a bad boy because you went to the bathroom on the floor. You know, did they make you clean it up? No, they made me eat it. Ooh." You know, it's like some of the personal, subjective experiences people have described in tailgate.
Or in any conversation, they're talking about body processes or something personal happened at home the other day or something.
Yeah,
you know,
in the tailgate, especially when Ion was on there, people would be more
open,
more likely to discuss a life-transforming, personal, subjective issue that they might have had. You know, maybe they caught one of their parents committing suicide or something, you know, like some major thing. You wouldn't just tell someone normally in conversation on the bus.
Right.
You wouldn't tell people, sit next to some guy on the bus and go, hey, you know, when I was...
he made me eat it. You turn to the guy, he made me eat it. The fucking guy made me eat it. There has to be a context. And what's interesting, because it's always hilarious in tailgate, because there's people not hearing anybody. The key word's muffled, and you have to ask Ian or someone to repeat it. And it ends up fragmented, like someone's going, they made you eat it? Yeah, it was my third husband, and he made me eat the shit. He wanted to get rid of the mortgage, and then the cops came in, and I told him, go fuck themselves, I'm taking my authority, and then my father told me to eat it. This is normal.
And then Ion said you should eat it, because raw sewage is good for you.
Yeah, Ion's going underneath, like Zappa's like Ion, he's underneath going, good. You know, people readings go on about talking about how bad things are, and they don't notice Ion's going, good.
It's like number 10, hot and putrid spider. The hotter the sound is, the more putrid it smells. I would that to be true in almost every case of experience. Exactly what you were saying.
And you could say these are people. Really, what the piano is regular discarnate electric media, and they're trying to find out where their bodies are and where their positions are in the discarnate state. They're trying to triangulate.
Yes, exactly.
And that's constant, right? Constant trying to figure out where you are, trying to see where you are, and you can't do it.
And then they have to create their own. And then you got somebody like Spider who's creating his own pataphysics there, you know, like for pseudoscience. Flowing inside out creates neutral energy. Now that makes a light get thick. Then you got this converter, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's like Zappa is Ion and I'm Spider being detached and explaining what people are going through, which they don't want to hear because you got people going, I had a dream about that once. And I just come in, well, dreams were obsolete by 1923. They don't want to hear that. That's the other, you know, someone else says, you did? You had a dream? Yeah. Then you must be me. Yeah, that's right. Because, go ahead.
Just looking at number 15, John goes, then we can sell them ladders because they're going to have ladders to get into the piano, right?
That's a replay of the Haight-Ashbury thing.
Yeah, well, it's like building your wall with mortar, you know. They're going to have to get bigger ladders.
Yeah.
If there's a wall of mortar, I'm going to build ladders because they're going to be a hot sell.
It's like celebrating. Sell them.
Yeah.
Sell them the ladders.
Yeah, but now where did we get this growing thing? Was that that was in this album, right?
The very first.
Because Spider goes, when it starts growing. He's talking about the piano grows. Yeah. That actually makes sense. He's saying, you start talking about selling ladders on the piano. That's when it starts growing. It can happen. And then John goes, right. We set them down and we turn the lights down and turn on the radio. Now there's monitoring. That's modulating the environment. You know what I mean? He's talking about perceptual alteration. Like McLuhan used to talk about how, you should turn down this or that for that kind of sensory effect.
Yeah, it's almost like John going, right, when we set them down and give them the revelations. What are you going to do? Stoop to strobe lights? Or, no, says Spider. He's got the latest stuff. And then Zappa comes in, we're going to put a little motor in them. Now, when was this done? This is stuff from 67, isn't it?
Yeah, this stuff.
But Moon is part of it. Now, did he mix it up? He's got Moon in the next one. Now, she's not there in 67.
He starts spicing Moon in to the old stuff.
Okay.
And this Ali guy.
Ali.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at we were talking about the motor. Let's see what it says. We're going to put a little motor in. I could have all sorts of different kinds of names for the motors. Yeah, there's all kinds of different motors, right? Although the motors would be the same. There's dry motors and wet motors, right? The motor for a bill is a dry motor. So after they put that thing in there for about half an hour, they suddenly can't stand it. See, there's the can't stand it, the tetradic enhancement. They suddenly can't stand it without having a wet. See, so they can't stand something. So, what?
Hybrid cars.
Yeah. So they can't stand it. So then you retrieve ladders for them to walk on. This is actually fucking expressing what I was quoting.
Yeah.
My creative process. You figure out what you can retrieve and make some money on. What are they going to respond to as they can't take it? Who went out?
Chad, I think.
Okay. So if they try to get away with spending only a bill, they end up spending about because they got to get this 4-bill wet motor. Good idea. Now we have a damp motor for the ones who aren't sure. Here comes New Age or Moon Unit Zappa. It's about letting go. That's like someone at tailgate moving it to another level. We don't need no motors. Just fucking let go. We're all inside the piano. We're all looking for a place inside the piano, or a place to be alone. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
So we were just going back about the motor for a bill's a dry motor. They put that thing in for an hour, half an hour, and somebody can't stand it. Now there's the enhancement. They can't stand it. So you figure out what to retrieve and make some money on it. You retrieve ladders. Ladders will help them here.
Yeah.
And then Moon comes in, just like on Tailgate, where someone's talking about, it's like, what's his name? Scott was telling Brian, you could invent a new kind of truck, because he's a truck driver. You can invent a new kind of truck. And Brian hears this for a bit, and he says, I don't give a fuck about truck driving. When I'm offended, I don't intend to be truck driving. And so here's Scott telling him telling him to make a better gadget, and Brian moves it to the level of Moon saying, well, it's all about letting go. we're all inside the piano. We're gonna always have trucks. We're all looking for a place inside the piano, or a place to be alone. And then this guy says some weird language.